4 from Miami. Let's go by the numbers on Jimmy G. Don't sleep on him, by the way. One knock on the Niners seems to be Jimmy G, right? Everybody's saying that he's attempted 27 passes this postseason, the fewest by any quarterback entering the Super Bowl since Bob Greasy in '73. But the Niners' run-first approach shouldn't be a knock on Garoppolo, right? He leads the NFL in play-action passing yards and averages 3 more yards per attempt with a play fake. And don't underestimate the fact that he actually has 3 games with 300 passing yards and 4 touchdowns this season, which ties the Niners record. That includes a 48-46 win in New Orleans. The Niners trailed by 13 in that win, one of several where Jimmy G put the team on his back. His 4 fourth-quarter comeback wins tied for the NFL lead. I'm just saying. NFL analyst Louis Riddick joining us from Miami. All right, Lou, what kind of performance does Jimmy G need to have on Sunday for the Niners to win it?
Look, I really think he needs to have a big performance, and I think, and I'm hoping that that's the way the game plays out. And in order for it to play out that way, that means the Kansas City Chiefs defense shuts down San Francisco's running game. I think they match up very well with San Francisco's offensive line. They matched up very well against the Tennessee Titans offensive line and shut down what would arguably be the most powerful, potent running back and running game in the NFL. So if it turns into this kind of shootout, look, Jimmy Garoppolo is one of those guys who has absolutely caught fire at moments where the team needs him the most. You see the stats right there as far as his ability to execute on play-action pass. And just remember this, okay? I'll give you 3 statistics, 3 statistical metrics that this guy was top 5 in the NFL as a quarterback, that no other quarterback was top 5 in all 3. Completion percentage, yards per attempt, and touchdown passes. Those are big metrics to be top 5 in when no one else has been top 5 in those. So I think when they've needed him the most, he's delivered. I have a feeling and I'm hoping they're going to need him the most on Sunday, and we have what amounts to be one of the great Super Bowls in terms of scoring and offensive firepower. Yeah, no doubt. Garoppolo also pretty good with the deep threat. Some of that is the yards after the catch because he's got some fantastic weapons like George Kittle. Sure. How should the Chiefs game plan to contain Kittle? Yeah, this is a tough one. Well, really, I mean, the guy who they really focused on in free agency being Tyrann Mathieu is going to be the guy who's going to be charged, I believe, with especially in third down situations where they go sub, meaning they have 5 or more defensive backs on the field. Tyrann's going to be a guy who they specifically use to try and eliminate, well, not eliminate, but just keep George Kittle, in check, because he's like having a 4th wide receiver on the field when they have 3 tight ends. 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 running back, which is a standard throwing formation. He's like having a 4th wide receiver. He's that fast. He's that agile. And Tyrann has showed people that he has the kind of coverage skills that can really negate a lot of guys like this who have the kind of physical characteristics that George does. If they don't have an answer for him, I can tell you this. This offense on the perimeter, that being San Francisco's, is as potent as anyone's. I'm not going to say they're as potent as Kansas City's perimeter players, but look, they have some guys who can absolutely rip you. Deebo Samuel is a very good wide receiver. Kendrick Bourne is a very, very good wide receiver. Emmanuel Sanders is a very good wide receiver. Many teams would die to have those 3 guys as their perimeter players plus George Kittle. So do not sleep on San Francisco's passing game. And Kansas City, I can tell you, is taking them very serious in that aspect. Yeah, you mentioned Honey Badger and why they acquired him. Tyrann Mathieu and Bashaud Breeland ranked as 2 of the best at defending tight ends this season, at least according to our NFL Next Gen stats. I can't wait. It's going to be like the battle of the theatrical tight ends. Which one's going to go off, Kelsey or Kittle? We all win either way. Thanks, Louis Riddick, for joining us here. Thank you.
Coming up, Roger Goodell's State of the Union address hinted at a change to the regular season in the NFL. Is a 17th game a good idea or a bad idea, according to the players? And Victor Oladipo is black, and he is just as clutch as ever. Here's a preview.
Tough times don't last. Tough people do. I'm just thankful, bro. I'm just thankful.
A middle-class kid who worked his way through college after his
injury report is looking more early season than late season as well for the Chiefs. Their question mark, Chris Jones, the defensive tackle. He strained his calf in the AFC title game. We're going to start our coverage of the Super Bowl with Josina Anderson and the Niners.
Well, the 49ers practice session today starts just before 1 p.m. local, but their rush offense got a boost with the return of running back Tevin Coleman, who came back to the practice field as a limited participant again. Coleman was also limited on Tuesday after not practicing in all 3 sessions last week due to a dislocated shoulder that he suffered in the NFC Championship game. Running back Raheem Mostert told me, "I don't know what his situation is specifically, but I do know he's going to be ready to go regardless of the situation."
Yesterday, the Kansas City Chiefs had their first full practice of Super Bowl week, 90 minutes long, no helmets, no pads. Everybody was a full participant. Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs, told me that he held back a few items in his defensive scheme to install yesterday and today so that his players would be fresh and be interested all week while they're here in Miami. He said, I don't want the players to get tired of the sound of my voice. He also said he's been preaching over and over again to ignore the pre-snap motions and the shifts of Kyle Shanahan's offense. Alignment and assignment football, he said, that's how we will stop the run. Today, the Chiefs are back at it at the Dolphins facility.
Still ahead on SportsCenter, the Chiefs will try to stop the Niners' run game, but they can't forget about Jimmy G. Riddick on the challenges Garoppolo presents and why you can't sleep on him. Plus, tempers flaring at Madison Square Garden. We're going to take a closer look at the frantic melee between Grizzlies Knicks. You won't believe the shade that came from one Knick after the incident. Oh, for real? That's how you feel, Marcus Morris?